The camera cuts backstage and what we're seeing right now is absolute pandemonium. Bron Breakker is on the ground, security is scrambling, and if you look closely at that figure walking away with purpose through the smoke and chaos, that's Seth freaking Rollins. The architect just made his return at War Games, and he didn't come back to shake hands or cut a promo. He came back for blood, and Roman Reigns' entire master plan just got obliterated in a matter of seconds. If you're watching this right now, you need to understand that everything we thought we knew about the power structure in WWE just changed. Hit that like button because this story is about to get insane, and trust me, you're going to want to share this with every wrestling fan you know. Let's rewind for a second because the build up to this moment has been months in the making, and most people completely missed the signs. Seth Rollins has been gone since September, supposedly out with a back injury that was going to sideline him indefinitely. The reports were everywhere. Dirt sheets were saying 6 months minimum. Some even suggested he might be done for good, that his body finally gave out after years of carrying this company on his shoulders. WWE programming moved on without him. CM Punk took his spot as the top babyface on Raw. The narrative shifted. Everyone forgot about the visionary because that's what WWE wanted us to do. But here's what nobody was talking about, what nobody was connecting. Every single time Roman Reigns appeared on our screens over the past 2 months, every time Paul Heyman cut one of those calculated promos, they were building something. They were assembling pieces on a chessboard that we couldn't fully see. Bron Breakker has been positioned as the future. This man is an absolute specimen, a genetic freak who's been destroying everyone in his path. He's got the look, he's got the intensity, and most importantly, he's got the Steiner lineage running through his veins. WWE has protected him like Fort Knox. His matches are short, brutal, and decisive. He doesn't do 20-minute technical classics. He obliterates opponents in 5 minutes and moves on to the next victim. It's been reported that higher ups see him as the next Goldberg, the next Brock Lesnar, someone who can be built into an unstoppable force that transcends wrestling and becomes a mainstream attraction. Roman Reigns recognized this. The tribal chief, always 10 steps ahead, saw Bron Breakker as the perfect weapon to add to his arsenal. Now here's where it gets really interesting, and this is where you need to pay attention because this connects to something much bigger. Over the past month, there have been subtle interactions between Bron and Solo Sikoa. Nothing overt, nothing that made headlines, but if you were watching closely, you saw it. A nod of respect here. Solo watching Bron's match from the gorilla position there. Paul Heyman appearing in the same backstage segment, seemingly by coincidence. These weren't accidents. In WWE, nothing is ever an accident. The story being woven was clear to those of us who'd been following Roman's methods for years. Bron Breakker was being groomed as the nuclear option, the insurance policy, the backup plan for when Roman needed someone with legitimate monster credentials to handle his dirty work. War Games was supposed to be the unveiling. Think about the timing. War Games is chaos, it's the perfect environment to introduce a new element to the Bloodline's power structure. The speculation all week was about who would be the 5th man for the Bloodline's team. Jimmy USO was already confirmed. Solo Sikoa, obviously. Jacob Fatu, the enforcer. Tama Tonga, the loyal soldier. But that 5th spot? That was the mystery that had everyone talking. The smart money was on Bron Breakker making his allegiance official, stepping into that cage and proving he was ready to stand with the tribal chief, to become the enforcer of the next generation of bloodline dominance. Backstage before the show, everything seemed to be going according to plan. Cameras caught Bron in his gear, warming up, getting loose, throwing those violent shoulder blocks into the padding. He looked focused. He looked ready. This was his moment. The announcers were already planting seeds on commentary, talking about how impressive Bron has been, how he's caught the attention of everyone in the locker room. The narrative was set. And then, in an instant, everything detonated. The footage is shocking. Bron is stretching, his back to the entrance of the training area, and you can hear it first before you see it. That familiar sound, those footsteps with purpose. The camera pans and there he is. Seth Rollins. But this isn't the Seth Rollins we're used to seeing. There's no elaborate entrance gear. No cackling villain energy. No over-the-top gestures. This is something we haven't seen from Seth in years, pure, unfiltered rage. He's in street clothes, looking like he just broke into the building, and the look in his eyes is absolutely murderous. Bron starts to turn, sensing something wrong, but he's a split second too late. The stomp. That devastating curb stomp right there on the concrete floor. Bron's head bounces off the ground with a sickening impact, but Seth doesn't stop. This isn't a message, this is an execution. He starts laying boots into Bron's ribs, vicious kicks that echo through the corridor. Bron tries to cover up, tries to protect himself, but Seth is possessed. He grabs a nearby equipment crate and, I'm not kidding, smashes it across Bron's back. Absolute chaos. Security finally arrives, but Seth's already backing away, hands up, but with that look that says exactly what he wanted to say. The damage is done. Bron Breakker, the unstoppable monster, the future of WWE, is laid out backstage, and Roman Reigns' backup plan is in ruins. If you're enjoying this breakdown and you want to stay updated on every single development in this story as it unfolds, do me a favor and subscribe to Ring Rumble. I know you probably hear that from every channel, and I get it, subscription requests can feel exhausting. But here's the thing, this story is going to move fast. There are going to be twists, returns, shocking developments that happen on random episodes of Raw and SmackDown, and I promise you, we're going to be here breaking it all down, connecting the dots, giving you the analysis that helps you understand not just what happened, but why it matters. Subscribing just helps you not miss anything, and honestly, it helps us keep doing this. No pressure, but if you're invested in this story like I am, having these videos pop up in your feed might just be worth that one click. Now let's talk about why this return is so significant beyond just the shock value. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns have the most complicated relationship in modern WWE history. They came up together as brothers in the Shield. They conquered WWE as the most dominant faction of the 2010s. And then they spent years destroying each other. Seth was the one who broke the Shield. He was the architect of its destruction. But over time, as Roman ascended to become the tribal chief, as he built the Bloodline into an unstoppable dynasty, Seth became something else. He became the conscience that Roman rejected. Every time Roman went too far, every time the Bloodline's actions crossed a line, Seth was there on the other side, representing what Roman could have been if he'd chosen a different path. Their matches have been classics. Their promos have been fire. But more than that, there's a personal animosity there that's very real. Seth has been vocal, in interviews and on programming, about how he doesn't respect what Roman has become. He doesn't respect the manipulation, the family exploitation, the way Roman uses people and discards them. Seth sees himself as the workhorse, the guy who shows up every single night, who puts his body on the line without hiding behind family members or backup plans. Roman, meanwhile, views Seth as bitter, jealous, unable to accept that the tribal chief found a formula for success that doesn't require breaking his body every night. So when reports started circulating that Roman was adding Bron Breakker to his arsenal, that he was building yet another layer of protection around himself, you can imagine how that sat with Seth. Here's Roman, already surrounded by the Bloodline, already having backup at every turn, now adding the most physically dominant young star in the company. It's overkill. It's excessive. And for Seth, who's been advocating for months that WWE needs to move past the Bloodline stranglehold on the main event scene, this was the final straw. Seth's injury was real, by the way. That wasn't a work. Multiple sources confirmed he was dealing with back issues that needed time to heal. But here's what I think happened. Seth was told he'd need 4 to 6 months. He took 2. He rushed his recovery specifically for this moment. He knew War Games was happening. He knew Roman was making moves. And he made the decision that whatever risk came with coming back early was worth it to prevent the Bloodline from becoming even more unstoppable. That's the kind of dedication we're talking about. That's the kind of hatred that fuels decisions that put careers at risk. The immediate fallout is going to be explosive. Bron Breakker, if he's even cleared to compete, is going to be out for vengeance. This man's entire aura is built on being unstoppable, and Seth just made him look vulnerable in front of the entire WWE universe. That's not something Bron is going to forget. Roman Reigns is going to be furious. His carefully laid plans just got disrupted in the most humiliating way possible. Paul Heyman is probably backstage right now frantically trying to figure out how to spin this, how to turn this disaster into something the tribal chief can leverage. And Seth? Seth just declared war on the Bloodline in the most violent way possible without saying a single word. The beauty of this angle is that it opens up so many possibilities. Does Bron still align with Roman out of mutual hatred for Seth? Does this attack actually push them together as allies united by a common enemy? Or does Bron's pride prevent him from accepting help, forcing him to pursue Seth on his own terms? Does Roman view Bron as damaged goods now, unreliable, and cut him loose before he even officially joins? These are questions that are going to be answered in the coming weeks, and every answer creates new storylines, new matches, new moments that could define WrestleMania season. And let's talk about the bigger picture here. WWE is in the middle of a transition period. The old guard is slowly stepping back. New stars are being elevated. The question everyone's been asking is, who are the next faces of this company? Seth has been that guy for years, but he's getting older, his body is wearing down. Roman has been the dominant force, but how much longer can the Bloodline story realistically continue? Bron represents the future, the next generation of monster heels who can carry this company for the next decade. This moment right here, this attack, this story, it's about legacy. It's about Seth protecting his legacy by preventing Roman from securing his. It's about Bron fighting to establish his legacy before it's defined by being Roman's lackey. What Seth did tonight wasn't just an attack. It was a statement. It was a message to everyone in WWE that the visionary isn't done yet, that you can't count him out, that he's willing to sacrifice his health, his career, everything, to prevent the Bloodline from achieving total dominance. And that kind of desperation, that kind of determination, makes for the most compelling storytelling in wrestling, because we believe it. We believe Seth would do this. We believe the hatred is real. The question now is what happens next. Seth is back, but he came back with a target on his back the size of Texas. Roman has the entire bloodline. Bron, even injured, is still a legitimate threat. Seth is alone. Or is he? One thing we've learned from Seth's career is that he's excellent at making alliances when necessary. Could we see old Shield brothers reunite? Could Seth recruit his own army to combat the bloodline? The possibilities are endless, and that's exactly what makes this return so perfect. So yeah, War Games just got infinitely more interesting. The matches we're about to see, the promos we're about to hear, the confrontations that are coming, they're all going to be must-watch television because Seth Rollins just changed everything. Drop a comment and let me know your thoughts. Do you think Seth made the right call? Is Bron going to destroy him? Is Roman going to retaliate in an even more devastating way? I want to hear your predictions because this story is just getting started, and we're all along for this incredible ride.